Hello and welcome to a special edition of the short Vort on Parsha Tzav and on Purim. We'll begin with some thoughts on Parsha Tzav and then we'll get to some thoughts on Purim. Rav Moshe Feinstein Zatzal discusses the beginning of the Parsha, Perek Vav, Pasuk Vav, talks about the Korban Ola, and the Ola has Eish Tamid as a permanent fire that does not get extinguished. Rashi brings down that Eish Shemadlikin Es Haneros Mialanzbech Chitzon Tukad, that it's lit from the outer altar, Mizbech Chitzon. Rav Moshe Feinstein says that this teaches about teaching talmidim. That teaching talmidim has to be with islavus, with enthusiasm, and that's the way to pass over the brightness of the Torah. And he says also that it's this enthusiasm, this excitement, has got to be external. But it's not when you're actually learning the Parsha, the Torah itself. And what I mean by that is you shouldn't be like just running around with that ahead when you're learning Torah. You should be more of a nachas with something more moderate so you can think properly. And Rav Moshe says the reason for this is because if you're so enthused, you might get so excited that you'll come up and you'll be machmir on things that say that they're usher, where really they should not be usher. And it's an interesting point to emphasize that he says, Mishum she'alul l'taos b'din shehu isur av shatos yu lahachmir. Because some people think, okay, as long as I'm machmir, that's not a problem. I can say it's usher because then I'm definitely not doing anything wrong. But no, even something, machmir is not necessarily better. Now, I was taking a look at the original source in Rashi, and I thought that it fits very well in Shemos, where in Perek Chaf Zayin Pasuk Ches, it says the halos near tamid, similar to Eish Tamid. And over there, Rashi brings down the Gemara in Shabbos Daf Chaf Aleph that Madlik Ad Shatei Shal Heves Ola Me'aleh, that you make sure that you hold the candle there until the fire goes out, continues by itself. And I think that fits also with Rav Moshe Feinstein's point about teaching talmidim, that you give that enthusiasm until that enthusiasm stays inherently in the Talmud itself and he no longer is dependent upon you. Moving on to Purim, one of the topics there is about the background of Esther and Mordechai, that they were from the tribe of Binyamin. And Esther had a pivotal role in saving the Bnei Yisrael as a kapara for the sin of her ancestor Shaul. Shaul was commanded by Shmuel Hanavi to kill out all the Ameleki, and he left the king of Agag, the king of Amelek, alive. And because of that time before he was killed, the king impregnated someone else, and eventually Haman, as a descendant, came out, and this Haman wanted to destroy the Bnei Yisrael. So Esther came, and she was one who was machaber for the sin of her ancestor. Now I asked a question on this. So Shaul lost his belucha because of his mistake here, but this is a special holiday that says Purim is never going to go away. When all the other holidays are abolished, Purim is still going to be here. So shouldn't he be getting a reward? After all, Nebuchadnezzar, who actually destroyed the Beis Hamikdash, was the grandfather of Vashti. Because he took 3 steps, he was rewarded with becoming the ruler, and he destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. So surely something that good comes out of the actions of Shaul should be rewarded. So in fact, I asked this to Rav Finkelman, the Mashgiach in Orach Chaim in Queens, and he said that his Rav Moshe Wolfson discussed this, and he says that the night before that Shaul passed away, he raised up Shmuel from the dead in a seance, and one thing that Shmuel told him, he says, tomorrow you're going to be with me, and I believe it says you're with me in Gan Eden. But anyhow, it's a positive thing that it'll be with Shmuel. So why was that? Because Hashem actually wanted to have Purim come about. As I said, it's the holiday that's not going to go away. So why would it be that? So Hashem had to make it that Shaul made the mistake, and Shaul was wondering, like, how is it possible that I made this mistake? I didn't listen to the will of Shmuel Hanavi, what he conveyed on God's behalf. It's really that Hashem made him do this mistake, kind of Yehuda and Tamar. Yehuda is not natural to go around with a zona, but there was this malach or whatever it was that pushed him to do this because it was necessary for the bringing of the Gula Shlema. And if the reality is that what Shaul did was right, therefore when he said Hakimosi as Devar Hashem in his response to Shmuel was not a lie, it actually was in fact something that was true. I want to thank you, before I go to the final point, I'm going to thank my nephews and nieces for the t-shirt. Uncle F is the best in the family. Shout out to them, and Mazel Tov to my nephew Yisrael on his upcoming wedding in a few weeks. And I'll thank them all for the present. And another question is why it's Esther. She had no parents. She was orphaned. She didn't even see her father. He passed away before she was born. The mother passed away in childbirth. The reality is that this is something that was actually needed and necessary. Why was it needed to be? One answer is because Achashverosh, as we know, was kind of made his rash decisions a lot and killed his wife on the spur of the moment, made different other decisions back and forth. So if Esther had just been asked, well, who are your parents, where are you from, what country, what nation are you, and she refused to answer, she would have been killed. But once she was born without parents, she could say, I don't know. And therefore that was able to let her survive, let her become the queen, and to help save the day. Another explanation given in a recent shir by Rav Daniel Gladstein, who has a brand new sefer, Magid Rakia on Purim. So he says that there's a concept that the best way to do a mitzvah, even better, is by wanting to do a mitzvah. Let's say you wanted to do a mitzvah and you couldn't do it, you would get full credit as if you did it 100% correct. That's better than if you actually did it, because we humans, we might have something that negates the full accomplishment, whether you're doing a shlo lishma or we did some nuance off. So it's better to desire to do something well. For example, actually, when a husband goes to learn and he battles for a few minutes, his wife gets the full credit for the hour that he went away for learning, or whatever time period is. So that's something that helps something become better by aspiring to do something, even if you don't actually do it. The enemy we had was Haman, descendant of Amelek, descendant of Esav, who is the supreme doer of mitzvahs kibbud av aim. In order to nullify his power, we needed some type of zechus and kibbud av aim. Any other zechus of the Bnei Yisrael might not have been there because there have been some imperfection. But when it came to Esther Hamelech didn't know her parents, but she really wanted to do kibbud av aim. So her desire to do it was as if she did it 100%, the maximum way, and therefore she was able to negate the spiritual power behind Haman from his ancestors regarding kibbud av aim. So thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week, a wonderful Purim, and a wonderful Shabbos.